guys, so here is an issue with having 4 yards of 45-inch wide fabric, and it was right on 4 yards. So I cut out the back piece for this particular pattern with my selvages together at the top with the traditional fold, so raw edges and raw edges at the cut lines, you know, right off the bolt. Then I folded it the other way so that those two raw edges were together, and I had selvages on one side and selvages on the other side like this, so that I could cut that sleeve and the two front pieces. Okay, so this is the front lining facing, and it's going to be kind of a close call getting it cut. I'll still have plenty of fabric for the collar and the two pockets that I want to do. Even if I used the extra fabric that I had at the end, I wouldn't have the length for the front facing. So this I will have to use for the pockets and the collar and all of that. But this right here is basically the cabbage that's left, and I have a wide section right here that will accommodate the top portion of the facing if I put this facing all, let's see, oh boy, how did I have it? Yeah. So there's like just I'm just shaving right here at this little edge right here, and I cannot flip it over, so it has to be like this. So I will be able to get this, but I don't know if you can see it. There is literally like 1/4 of an inch right here that does not have fabric, and I have to cut two. There it is. Okay. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and make do. I'm not doing buttonholes. It's an open front jacket with a belt that I'm designing. I do need a little bit of extra fabric for belt loops and the front portion of the belt. That's the other thing. Oh, that might be not happening. So what I'm going to do here is line up these selvages right there. And I mean, I think you can see it kind of curves in right here. So the facing is going to be a little bit you know, just cut a little bit smaller than a facing would normally be cut. If for some reason this particular piece doesn't work, I wanted to say, if I end up cutting out a different piece of fabric, or if I order more of this, if I can find it to kind of finish up, I will let you know. But if you are taking note, this was literally 4 yards of fabric. So now I only need one layer of fabric for the collar, because the other layer is the plaid. Okay, so I need the collar piece to go cross grain. I mean, it's still a straight, but I need it to go cross because I want a little bit of stretch as it's coming around the back of the neck and lying on your shoulders and then wrapping around It needs to have a little bit of give. Not, not a ridiculous amount like it would have on the bias that I have left. And then remember, I also wanted a belt, which if I have to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have the lining for the belt cut in the plaid. One option is to go with a smaller pocket and only one, which I think would look really weird on a jacket. So let me see if that fabric is still available. I don't know. Then remember, the pocket is cut with this knot added. That's for the lining only. So for this particular fabric, it is cut this way. Okay, so I don't lose the identity of this particular piece. I'm going to go ahead and just use some of my clips since I just can't get a pin. Okay, so now I know that these are the two pocket pieces and they're safe. Alright, so I have those. I have the collar, I have the facing, I have the sleeves, the two front pieces, the one back piece, and I need to locate the matching plaid pieces that are right here. So let's see what we have. This is the belt. Okay, I'll make a note of that. I think I had, and again I'm just going to clip so that I don't lose the identity of this, because I would be like, ooh, I have a lot of nice fabric left. No, it's spoken for. Alright, this is the collar lining, so I'm going to put it with the maroon fabric. This is pocket right here, so I'm going to put that with the pocket. Be right back. Alrighty. So this is the lining that will be on the bottom side of the collar. So I can put these two together. And these are the sleeve bands. They do not have a corresponding maroon piece, but I need to make sure I have this piece correctly. Actually, I think it goes. Oh. Yeah, goes like that. Okay. I think I'll pin that on there so I know which is top and which is bottom. Remember, these were cut on the bias. So I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, so it's been like 4 hours. It is around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were supposed to see some sun today through the smoke, but the smoke has actually gotten thicker and is at a lower level in the air, so that instead of being like a cloud cover over our heads, it's like we're kind of swimming through it. It's just awful. But then again, I'm not really complaining, because what we're going through is not even remotely similar to what the people who have gone through the fires have endured. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I will tell you that I've done some investigating on the maroon fabric, and while it is available through other sources, not just Amazon, it is out of stock, like everywhere. I did notice that fabric.com says on their website that it will be back in stock on September 27th of this year, 2020. So today's the 12th. If you want to wait, then of course you could get it there, and it may reappear on Amazon as well. At this point, they haven't even addressed the fact that it's no longer available, because you can click on, you can type in the words Robert Kaufman, Shetland flannel, Maroon, and it will appear as though that's where you're going, and then the maroon color disappears and you're left looking at a gray option. And it does not say maroon not available or out of stock or anything. So, and it looked to me like there were other places that did have it, but I don't think they do now. So I will wait. I'm probably going to order like a 1 yard piece. At that point, I'll do the belt. I have plenty of cabbage to make the belt loops. So, I can finagle about, I just don't have to worry about it, like, to do the construction of the jacket. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and just get busy. So the very first step, and like I remember I told you here, we're not concerning ourselves with this half of page 2 at all. It has nothing to do with what we're doing. So we're just going to move over to this half, and we're going to look at the instructions. So the first thing we need to do is stay stitch the neck edges. This is going to be the wrong side of the fabric. This is going to be the right side of the fabric. So I am going to take a safety pin, and I'm going to pin the safety pin on the right side of the fabric, right here. And I mean, I could put it anywhere. I could put it at the hem. I could put it, any place I want to. And I may end up having to move it. But at the moment, I've just got it up there. So this is the right side. So when I'm wearing the jacket, this will be facing outside. This will be closest to me. So that's that. I do have my chalk marks where all the little circles were. Okay, so the stay stitching part will be on this one. So you look for your 1/2 inch, which for me is right here. So a 1/2 inch away approximately from the neck edge, and we go this direction, this on this side of the fold, and this direction on the other side of the fold. So I will stitch from here to here, and then from here to here. And the same thing is true on the front pieces. There should be 2 front pieces. That's our stay stitching for those 2 pieces. I need to put all these pins back in this little Ziploc bag. To start on the shoulder side up here at the back part of the neck on these two front pieces. So if it's awkward for you to sew from here and around this curve, let me get you back where you can see what I'm doing. Instead of starting here and stitching this way, you need to start at the top of the shoulder, which is right here, and this is the front neck edge, and you need to go from here to the front neck edge, not front neck edge to here. So you can flip this over and do the stay stitching from the reverse, but I don't really recommend it. The reason for that is the needle thread, not the bobbin thread, but the needle thread is what you want on the top, on the correct side of your fabric. Oops. And then don't be a dork like me and forget to put your machine back in the proper stitch. Okay. Okay, now here on this side, let me finish a sentence for heaven's sakes. You just start the next piece of fabric before this one is completely through. That's clothesline stitching. Okay, so this is the shoulder edge where I will start my stitching right up here, and I'm going to follow this line all the way around to the neck edge right here. Is the back neck edge, but I'm going to stitch from this shoulder seam or shoulder raw edge to the center, and then I'm going to stop, and I have to pick this up and turn it so that I can do this side. And you can see where if your fabric is all the same color, it might be difficult to try to remember what was the right side, what was the wrong side. That's why I use the safety pins at this stage, so I still know what is the right side of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to cut my threads. First, we need to talk about this pocket business, because I have to put my two pockets together before I do any of this construction business. But when you have a pocket that you're going to put onto a garment, generally it's going to be either the first or the second construction stitch that you're going to do. In my case, you do the stay stitching and then you do the pocket. So since this particular pajama top has a breast pocket, they're having this pocket applied in step 2, essentially. Step 2 is put the pocket together and then put the pocket on. And I kind of want to follow that same rule with my jacket, because it's so much easier to do it now than after you have sewn certain things. So what I chose to do with these pockets is, this is the outside and this would be the lining. And this is not part of the pattern. I made this up. Okay. So each one, I need to go ahead and apply these. I don't want to lose. This is the inside, so this would be the outside of this. I'm going to clip it so that the outside is on the outside. This is the outside, this is the inside. Okay, so the way I wanted this pocket to go is I have to press this down, and then I'm going to fold this over the top like so. Alright. So remember, we're not going to stitch across the top. leave that open. We're going to start our stitching right here. And I'm using the side of my sewing machine foot as my stitch guide because that's 1/4 of an inch and that's the seam allowance I want to have here. Okay. And one thing I do want to point out, stitching with flannel, it's a beautiful fabric, but there will be a lot of lint. So you are likely going to need to clean your sewing machine several times throughout the process of stitching if you're doing the entire pajamas. I'm just pretty careful about taking care of George. And throughout the process of making this jacket, I will be cleaning George. That's just what I do. Okay, so now I'm going to trim out this corner right here. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this to the right side. I'm going to push that corner out like that. And other corner. Okay, and then if we have cut the pocket the correct way, the lining fabric should be outside, you know, bigger than the pocket fabric. Alright, so here I am with the pressed pocket, and all I have to do, I do have some little whiskers up here at the top where I have folded it under, so I'm just going to clip that away. And then the rest of it has been pressed, and I've got, see how I have rolled the lining to the back. So I'm going to do that. I do need to make sure that it's going to stay, so I'm going to lock this stitch. Okay. And then trim your excess thread. All right. Okay, so I have discovered that this is the absolute perfect spot for the pocket on the left front side. So I now need to create the right pocket and place it on the right front side. Okay, so I want to measure from this side to here. All right, that's that weird random little line past the 5. Sorry, Stephen. I know I'm not doing math. Okay, that is off, I think. No. Nope, it's on the same weird little line. I'm sure that there are math people out there who are just cringing. Sorry. Okay, there's that second weird little line past the 4. And second weird little line past the 4. We're golden. I'm very happy. Okay, so all I need to do now, because I think I've got these exactly where I want them, is I'm going to stitch around the outer edges. Boy, if anything, I'll end up needing more thread. That's usually the case for me. I like the fact that it really blends though, because if anything happens, you know, if I have to repair something or whatever, it really just disappears, I think. Okay, so pocket 1 has been installed. I need to remove the chalk. I like the way it looks. It's big, it'll hold a phone, you know, dog treats, whatever you need to put in a pocket. Okay, so these pockets are 9.5 inches wide, finished, and 8 inches from top to bottom, finished. So however you chose to do your pockets, I can tell you that they fit my hand really well. There's gobs of room. The phone fits right in here like this, or I mean a book would fit in there. Gloves, hat, scarf. I mean, you got 2 nice, you know, jacket pockets right on the front. And now I'm going to go ahead and call it for the night. Our next step, starting tomorrow, since now we've done these pockets, is to stitch these shoulder seams together. We're going to be matching up those notches and we're going to stitch those together. We would definitely want to finish the seams in this jacket in the way that I would like to suggest that we do it. If you've never done this before, it's a good way to kind of hone your hand sewing skills, and I think that doing it in this application is probably the best. Also, this fabric really lends itself well to being manipulated. It's not hard, it doesn't fight you, it's easy to do. So let me show you what I'm talking about with some scraps, and then if you want to, you can practice this on some scraps before tomorrow. Okay, so here we are. Here's the one that we've trimmed down right there. I think you can see it. And then here's the one that we're going to fold over the top like so. Okay? Now we're going to take our little tiny needle and our definitely better thread, and we're going to bury that knot in that fold. And then we're going to pick up one thread and go into the fold, run the needle along the fold. So it's running inside that folded edge. Like that. Okay. And you can use a ham. You can kind of lay this down on top of a ham and it will help keep it, you know, nice where you don't have to hold it and get a cramp in your hand. It's really a great way to do this. Alright, take a stitch, run your needle along the fold. It's literally in the folded part right there. Okay, then come out, then pick up a single thread of the outside of the jacket and go into the fold over the seam, and then run the needle through the fold. And I'm not really measuring if I'm doing that little step right there the same. I'm just not making them wildly different. And then also I want you to remember, if it shows on this side, this is the inside of your garment, if these little stitches show, which they wouldn't be because you'd be using thread that matches your garment, it's okay. It's this side that you don't want your little threads to show. And even though my thread doesn't match, you can't tell. There's no show through. And yet it is fully stitched You know, it's attached. I don't know if you can see that, but it's attached right there. So, and it's not showing through, even though I'm using gold thread, because I'm only picking up one thread. It is lovely, and it gives your garment a very interestingly professional looking finish on the outside. So when you press that seam, it just looks different. It has a very different feel to it than a serged or a zigzagged or a, you know, just some kind of an edged finish to the raw edge. So when you fold it under and you stitch it down, you've got that extra little oomph of fabric there, and it makes every single seam feel designer. That's all I'm going to say. It feels designer. So that's what I'm doing, and if you want to finish along with me doing it this way, by the time we finish this jacket, you will be an absolute expert at getting those seams finished. And think how pretty that would be, and is, I've done it every time, on a little girl's dress or a baby day gown or a christening gown, to have that beautifully finished inside that just almost matches the beautifully finished outside. So that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. We've made a lot of progress today, and be thinking if you have any questions, if you need help with anything, if you've got, if you're confused about something, if you're using this pattern to make a pajama top and you want to do a buttonhole and button placket in the front, let me know. We'll talk about that too if we need to. And I will see you in the next video.